La emisión está comenzando. Todos los asistentes están en modo de solo escucha.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's turn on my camera so that you can see us. Okay, here we are. This is Miguel
and Nestor. Hello.
We're both from Zabala, and we will be giving you the presentation today. So before we start, so that we can wait a little bit more for the people with a little bit of delay, just to let you know how this works, we are going to do a presentation of Blockchers second open call, the overall of the program, main issues. Also, we will play a very nice video about the second open call and so on. During the whole process, you will have your microphones muted. So in case you want to ask a question, you can use two methods. Or you can write your question through the chat window, and we will be reading the questions. Or you can raise up your hand, and during the presentation, we will stop around mid-presentation to listen to your questions, and then at the very end, and we will give you the opportunity to do the question out and loud. We will open your microphone so that everyone will hear you. So we had like 60 registrations this morning. Now I see there are 22 people attending. So I guess some of the pending ones will be joining, but in order not to delay, we will start. Okay. So my name is Miguel Garcia. I'm here with Nestor Echaleco. We are both coordinating this initiative on behalf of the consortium Blockchers. So what is Blockchers? Blockchers is a program which is funded by the European Commission through Horizon 2020 to facilitate the revolution of distributed ledger technologies across European SMEs. And before we keep on progressing, we will do you the premiere of the video for this second open call. If it works. No. Just sorry about that. No. Let me open like this. A better way, it's not working. Okay, no worries. I have the backup plan. There you go.
We received 180 proposals showing the use of blockchain technology in traditional sectors in Europe. Initially, we selected 12 companies, and right now we are working with 8 of them in an acceleration process that will end on March to launch new products and services.
Okay, so that was the video, which will be published today in our YouTube channel. So this is a little bit in a nutshell what Blockchers is about. Coming back to the presentation and going to the exact details, just to mention a few things about us. So Blockchers is, as I say, a project funded by the European Commission, in which a little part of the funding is kept for supporting SMEs and the startups working with blockchain use cases. The consortium is comprised by 4 partners. So we are part of Zavala Innovation Consulting, an innovation consultancy firm based in Spain mainly, but also in France, in Belgium, UK, and Colombia. We also have other 3 partners who are the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center, which is one of the most reputed institutions in Europe working with blockchain technologies. We have also another consultancy firm based in Hungary with large influence in Eastern Europe countries. And we have Alastria as the main association for blockchain companies in Spain, but also now expanding to Europe as well. Our main objective is focusing on how we are going to implement, or how you are going to implement, use cases of blockchain technologies across different, more traditional players. So our aim is that blockchain technologies reaches traditional industries in a variety of domains. As you can see on the slide, we're talking about industry, mobility, food, media, legal, health, and many others. So we are not close to any proposal coming from any domain, but initially we are talking about those ones. The use case. So going hands into work, what would we need? We need 2 things. For every proposal we receive, we are looking for a tandem comprised of an end user SME and a technological SME. When we talk about a technological SME, we're talking a blockchain expert. So some company or a startup which is knowledge in blockchain technologies, or DLTs, that comes with an end user or a potential customer or an actual customer, which is also an SME, that is willing to receive an implementation of the technology for their use case. So this is a consortium comprised by 2 SMEs, one technical, the other non-technical as user. The funding will be always disbursed and the contract will be always signed with a technological SME. So the applicant is not the end user, but the technological SME. What we request in the application is an agreement between both. Okay, we will see that later. So between the technological SME and the end user, you present us a use case. How do we handle that? So we have a template on our website that is available for you, in which we require you that the end user SME and the technological SME sign an agreement stating which are the companies, where are they based, and that they commit each other to, in case that we select you to implement a use case based on blockchain technology. This letter of commitment should be signed and uploaded into the system before the closure of the open call. And this is mandatory. So how do we work, or how is the funnel approach that we follow during the process? It's pretty simple and easy to understand. First of all, what we do is we receive the proposals through the system and we evaluate them. Up to 18 different use cases or teams are selected, and they start the immersion phase. In that immersion phase is a very simple one. You have to prepare a kind of mock-up of your implementation use case and present it in a physical event that will be held in Amsterdam this year in front of a jury, and do a pitch. With that pitch, we will select the best 12 according to the criteria of our jury, and those 12 will go into the implementation phase. So the immersion phase, that is the mock-up and pitch, counts with a direct grant of 3,000 euros per team, and the implementation phase counts with a grant of 30,000 euros per team. Then, after the implementation is done, we validate that the KPIs that we define at the beginning of the implementation phase are done. Those KPIs are both technical and commercial, so we check that everything goes well, and then we invite you to a final event in which 2 winners are selected, the best case and the second best case. Those 2 will receive an additional extra funding in the form of a prize of 17,000 euros and 13 euros. So the winner of the open call can get 50K in total. This is more or less the schedule when we talk about the timings. So basically by the end of this year, beginning January, you will know who will be the winner of this second call. But it is not only about the funding. We also offer services. So what services are being offered? These are actually services that we're currently offering to our ongoing portfolio of companies, which are part of the first cohort of startups that we selected. And the services are free access to the DLT infrastructure provided by Alastria. You will have an internal coach from the consortium or from Tabala or from Innamine who will guide you during the implementation phase, and you will check the KPIs with that person during this period. You will have also granted technical support if you use the network of Alastria. That will be also free. You will have free access to a certificate program online, which is valued at 5,000 euros by the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center. You will participate in investors matchmaking events. So to give you a little bit of an intro, I think it was something like 10 of the startups are attending free to the 4 years from now in Barcelona this month of February, and they will do a pitch in front of investors. So that is covered by by our partners. So also, as the case of 4 years from now, you will have more events during the period. And also we can offer you, if you're interested and if you're using the Amazon Web Services Cloud, $15,000 in free credits to use during the following 2 years. So that's included if you are selected. Okay. What else? Some figures about the open call. Okay. So last year we received there were 180 proposals open in the system, out of which 70 were press the submit button. Out of those 70, 56 were eligible. We will talk about the criteria for eligibility later, but some of them were not eligible. Then we got only 14 proposals over all the thresholds. So the proposals, you will see the form, they are evaluated under 3 criteria. We'll talk about them later, and only 14 were over all the thresholds. And out of those, we selected 12. Okay. Now in the implementation phase, there are 8 companies. Who are they? These are the companies which are actually live in our program. I will invite you all to have a look at their interviews, their use case scenarios, and a little bit the profile of the company so that you know what type of companies we are looking for. You will see that you have samples in many domains, going from agri-food sector to legal, even transportation, etc. So there is a little bit of everything, but I will insist you to visit our website and the portfolio. So what now? Okay, now it's the time when we have a new open call, and very, very important things. We have a hard deadline. So we will not extend unless there is a technical issue or something like that, the deadline. So the deadline, write it down, is the 13th of March 2020 at 12 p.m. Brussels time. Okay, no later. Once the system is closed, we will not reopen it for any purpose. So it is important that all the information in the form is correctly inserted and the documents like the letter of commitment by the end user SME uploaded, signed. Don't forget to sign it. The link for the online form, you can see it on the screen. So just have a look through it. Once you go into the application form, something which you can even do right now if you want, you can select a team through the platform. You need to be registered there with your team and open an application. The application is saved, so you don't need to complete it at once. So you can edit the questions as many times as you want until the deadline. But once you press submit, we receive it. Okay? So do not forget also to press submit. So a little bit of more information on how the program is structured. So now from Jan to March, we have the call open. So we're basically opening the call and promoting through different events and webinars like this one, and we expect you submit the proposal. Then we will proceed with the evaluation, something which will happen from the 13th of March until May. So in a little bit more than a month, or even less than a month, you will hear back from us, indicating if you're in or not. Then we will sign a contract. That's also important because we are disbursing public grants. We need to sign a contract between each blockchain technology company and Blockchers consortium, which is represented by the coordinator Zavala. And once that contract is signed, you are officially part of Blockchers program. So the first thing is about preparing the mockup and prepare you for the pitch contest. So we can inform you that this pitch contest is going to happen at the next web conference in Amsterdam this year. So in case you don't know, the next web conference is one of the biggest events for the startup scene all over the world. It's a massive event, and we will have there a very nice stage in which you will be pitching your company in front of a jury, but also the general public. Okay, so the contest of the pitch will be a public contest. The evaluation of things like the mock-up, the technical description, and everything will be done on a confidential basis privately with the evaluators, but the pitch will be made public. Okay, so for those of you attending to the next web, you will have access to the event for free, as you can imagine. But in addition, to cover your trip expenses, you will get 3,000 euros each team. Okay, then we will select the best 12 teams out of this pitch, and they will enter into the implementation phase. The implementation phase is a phase in which you actually implement the solution of blockchain in the SME, in the end user SME. And what you do is you define with your internal codes a set of KPIs that need to be checked every couple of weeks to monitor progress. So this is done from July to December, and then it is yet to be determined if it will be before Christmas or after Christmas. We will have a final event in which there will be another pitch competition, but this time to present the use case implementation, how it works, etc. And then we will pick up the best two teams during this cohort. Okay, so this is how we work the program. Again, for those of you being pre-selected, you will have 2 tickets to access this event in Amsterdam. Actually, the pitch will happen during the morning of the 18th of June, so this is already settled with the organization. But you will have time also to have a look at this awesome fair with major speakers and so on. So if you check online, you will see what I'm talking about. Before submission, important recommendations. Read the guidelines. I will stop and say it again, read the guidelines, because most of the common errors or problems that come after when a proposal is not selected is because they haven't read the guidelines and they skip parts which are relevant, like providing full information or forgetting about the fact that they need to involve an SME, not a large enterprise as an end user. So this is a program which is for SMEs, by SMEs, and funded by the European Commission. The main aim of why we focus so much on SMEs is because the funding from this program comes from a program called InnoSub, which is targeting specifically small and medium enterprises all across Europe. So this is why this is a requirement, okay? You have the most typical questions also available at our FAQ section, so visit it and have a look at them. And also for those of you who may have or will receive additional grants, check if they are compatible with Horizon 2020 funds. There should be no problem, but because we live in the European Union and every country has its own set of rules and laws and aids and grants, just be sure that there are no problems. Also, this is something new from this call. This is the member states and eligibility. I will go back now. So instructions in a nutshell. Identify a DLT-based solution directed to one of the selected domains. Okay. So what type of blockchain, for what domain, etc. Second, contact an end user SME and sign the agreement. So there's a template The presentation will be made available for you, but the template is already on our website, so you can download it, complete it, and sign it. Do not forget to sign it, please. 3, fulfill online the online form at F6S, and then you may reach to the point that you're the winner and you get the 50K. Take your time filling the questions. It is not a very long questionnaire, but we want to have complete answers. So what we usually saw during the first call in some cases was that people were filling up the form in a hurry, and they were giving vague answers or very generic answers to the questions. So take your time, it is worth it because you're competing with others. So think that if you provide a very empty answer, there might be another competitor providing a more complete answer. And even if they are better or worse than you, they have more chances to be selected because they have provided more information. So please take your time. Eligibility, and this is also very important. Again, you must be an SME, so make sure you are. And how do you make sure? Read the guidelines from the Commission to see if you accomplish with that. So just general numbers, we posted this morning as well on the Telegram group, but an SME is a company who counts with less than 250 employees full-time, but also that counts with an income of less than 50 million. So those are the broad numbers. So if you are a company with 2 or 3 people, should be no problem, but also be aware that for the counting of the number of people, dependencies matter. And I'm talking about those companies which are part of larger groups, their shareholders are large organizations and so on. So read the guidelines if this is your case so that you can check if you accomplish with the definition of SME. The same definition of SME applies for the end user SME, okay? So both companies in the tandem should be an SME. Okay, another important fact, if the letter of commitment is not signed, is uploaded empty, it is provided with non-relevant information just to make the form work, your proposal will be declared not eligible. So we had some cases in which the companies uploaded the information without a signature by the end user SME. And when we told them that they were not eligible, then they provided the signature. I mean, for us, the deadline matters. So if it is not ready for the deadline, we will not wait for everyone. I think that 2 months is more than enough to select an end user SME and to start working with them. Who are eligible in terms of countries? So in terms of countries, we have the member states of the European Union and the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, despite Brexit, is still eligible for us because funding from this project was granted before Brexit. So UK is still a valid player in the loop. The overseas countries and territories linked to the member states and the Horizon 2020 associated countries, you have the list there. Iceland, Norway, Switzerland, the usual suspects in Horizon 2020 funding are also eligible for us. By the way, end users SMEs applies the same ruling, so you need to be part of one of these countries to be eligible. If the technological company comes from, let's say, Germany and the end user SME is from the United States, the team is not eligible, okay? So be careful when selecting this. Multi-participation, we will only accept for evaluation 1 proposal. If you send us different use cases with different end users SMEs, we will consider only 1. Companies that have been funded will not repeat, meaning that we will select 18 companies which were not selected in the past. Usual question is, do I need to have this company set up? And the answer is clear. Yes, you need to have an entity registered to be considered an SME. So individuals, groups of individuals are not eligible in the call. Fill in the proposal with valid information at F6S and do not subcontract. What do we refer to this? Usually we see that some projects decide that they are the technological SMEs, but actually they do not have expertise on blockchain technologies, so they subcontract a third-party company that will do all the development work. That is not a valid procedure. We need the technological experts inside the company already. And you can work with freelancers. Yes, you can. You can hire freelancers, but they need to be individuals, not a company. So what we don't want is funding one company that subcontracts the bulk of the job, the technical job, to a third-party country or to a third-party company. Okay? Maybe we can open a little bit the mic. Nestor is already answering some questions on the chat. Maybe you can read them through.
Okay. I'm answering some questions before. So, Victor asked how many time do you have to develop the use cases? So, if you are selected, as Miguel has said before, you will have around 6 months to develop the solutions from June, July to December. So, you will have this 6 months to develop and go further with the development of the solutions. This is one of the questions. The second one was if to apply, you must to be only one technological company, or you can apply 2 companies together. No. So here it's only one technological company that we want. You go together with the end user SME, but you cannot apply with a consortium of technological SMEs. So you will select which is the better company that is going to develop the solution and go with this one. As Miguel has said right now, we don't want subcontracting either. So it's important to select who is the company that is going to develop the solution. Other question from Stephen. If both technological SME and end user must attend the pitch, no. So it's only the technological company that is compulsory to attend the pitch and to explain what's the solution. The end user can go with you. It's like the support, and we will see that he's really involved in the project and you are working together. So maybe it's good, but it's not compulsory. You have the 3,000 euros for the travel expenses, so you can expand with more people of your company. You can go with the end user SME, so you can do as you want with this money. But the one that must to be present is the technological one.
Indeed, just to put an example, during the first open call, we organized this first event, this pitch contest in Budapest. It was a kind of private, not like it's going to be now in Amsterdam, but some of the companies were there with 5 people, other companies were there with just 1, other companies were there 2 people plus the end user SME. So it was a little bit free. What we required is that at least one representative of the technological company is there to pitch on stage.
Also, Stephen, you say if all the 2 SMEs must be from the same country. No. So these were the eligible countries, are the one that we have included. But you can, if you are a Spanish company, you can go with a British company. Or so the only thing is both companies must fulfill the requirements of the member states or the countries that we have indicated. But you can be from different countries. Pedro, do you make any distinction between blockchain and DLT? No. So here we are speaking about blockchain because it's the most common technology. It's the general
term, yes.
The general term, but you can use the DLT that you prefer. So either Ledger or there are several ones, so you can select what do you think is better for your solution. It's interesting to show us why do you have selected this technology and why do you think is better than other ones. But we are not giving more importance to one or to other. Another one. If the technological SME is part of another EU program like Blockchers, can it still apply to Blockchers? I don't know if the
We need to check that with the Commission yet, okay? So to see if there are any restrictions that we need to put forward or not, because this has been a debate so far. So the answer is still an answer, okay? So we will check with the Commission and let you know through our channels and everything. This is the case also, I want to express. I mean, this does not make all the people receiving or having received funding from the Commission ineligible. That is only for specific cases like Blockpool and Blockers. I think there was the other, because those are 3 projects that run together in the same open call by the same unit and everything is more or less in parallel. So we need to check if there are any kind of incompatibilities between them and us. But this is not on us, this is something we need to ask, okay?
Victor, you are saying, in the case the know-how of blockchain is in the technological SME, you can contract freelancers to help programming the solutions. If they are usually working with you, so you can work with them, but we don't want to subcontract the tasks, no? It's important.
Yeah. You will see them later because we will talk about the evaluation criteria. One of the criteria we use in the evaluation is the team. And when we talk about the team, we talk about the capability and the feasibility of the team that is presented in the proposal to develop the whole implementation use case from a business side and from a technical side. So it is important that inside your teams, you have enough expertise. Does that mean that you cannot hire any freelance for a specific job inside the implementation? No, not at all. But you are putting your in a competitor position, in a weaker position, I would say, because if all the team comes with the whole team already in-house, that will be better valued by evaluators, okay?
The question from Alice, I think, is the same that before, no? If you have already applied for different Horizon 2020 funding, are you still eligible? In principle, yes, no? But we need to confirm the case of these 3 projects that we are working together in this specific call.
So the exception might be with Blockers and Blockpool, okay? The other funding coming from Horizon 2020 is totally compatible with us, because actually we will fund implementation use cases, so we will fund things that have not been done yet, okay? So we are not funding use cases which are already implemented.
The last one from Tom. What does it mean to use Alastria Infra? What is included there? Is this blockchain agnostic or a proprietary format? Can we use set parity in there?
So far, the network from Alastria, I don't know if we don't have we don't have the lady from Alastria on the call, but Alastria is it's an implementation based on Quorum, which is also derived from Ethereum. So this is public permission distributed ledger technology, which is basically supported by different Spanish entities, many of them, including ministries, large companies, SMEs, startups, and so on. So actually, this is one part of the offering we are giving you. If you want to use Alastria provided network, you can do that for free. Otherwise, if you want to access Alastria network, it has an annual fee to be part of it. So part of the offering we do is you can use Alastria if you want. We are not forcing anyone to use Alastria. So if you think that your use case does not fit with Alastria solution, because you are already using other technologies in this domain, that is perfectly fine as well. We have different samples, and if you go through the portfolio, you will see that our companies are using Hyperledger, are using Ethereum, are using IOTA, are using many solutions. So, I mean, this is just an offering we give you. If you want, you take it. If you don't want to, you don't take it. So, totally free. And next question, it does not have implications in the selection of process, okay? So, if you don't use Alastria network, you will have exactly the same possibilities to be eligible as, or to be selected as the others.
At the moment, there are the questions.
Okay.
We can continue.
Anyone wants to shout out loud a question through the microphone, just raise up your hand if you want, and I will open your microphone. If not, I keep on moving Okay, so let's go. Evaluation. So how does this work? It's a very simple process if you want. So first thing we do is an automatic sorting. So inside your application, there are some fields which will trigger what we call red flags. Those red flags are warnings that we get from specific proposals informing us that they are not the best candidate for our program. The publication of these red flags will be done after the call closes so that people cannot tweak or modify their proposals to be a fit here. So those KPIs or those red flags we're monitoring are known by the Commission and will be known by the community after we close the second and last call, okay? So first, automatic sorting. Second, those of you passing the automatic sorting will be evaluated by two different experts, mainly one technical expert and one business expert. The criteria for this evaluation will be three: the technical approach and the usage of DLT's blockchain technologies in your case, the team behind the project and the feasibility of the business plan behind the logic of the company or the implementation of the use case of, for every different project there is a different business plan logic, okay? So those are the three main criteria. You will need to score at least 3 points out of 5 on each criteria and a minimum of 10 between the three of them. Only those ones with those scores will be the ones that can be eligible for funding, okay? So it might be the case that we don't get enough quality proposals. That is possible. I hope it is not, but that is possible as well. So we have funding for 18 teams and we want to disperse it. So be prepared and do a good job while writing the proposal. Results. So this is a little bit the scheme on how we communicate. So basically you can receive 3 communication letters or emails. A rejection one, a waiting list, or a pre-selected. So the rejection is for those cases which are not eligible because they submit the letter without signing, because they are not an SME, because they are not from one eligible member state, so on and so forth. Basic eligibility criteria. Then the second rejection letter might be because we have detected some of those red flags. In those cases, you will receive an agnostic email, not indicating which was the red flag that triggered the decision. So we know that maybe some of you don't like this approach, but this is an agile approach in order to do a selection faster. Usually we get a lot of proposals, so we want to skip those ones which we already consider that are not a fit for us. So just to let you know, you are accepting the terms and conditions of the call, which are set in the guidelines, and this is written in the guidelines. So when you click that you accept the conditions, yeah, why are the flags kept secret? Basically because we don't want proposals to be tweaking some of their answers because of those red flags. So the red flags will be made public after the call closes. As simple as that. And as I say, this is something that you accept in the terms and conditions when you click on the application. So it's up to you to decide if you want to play with these rules or not. If you don't have any red flags, then you got the remote evaluation, and depending on the result and the scores provided by the evaluators, you can end up in one of the 3 categories in the beginning. Pre-selected if you are the top 18 over thresholds, waiting list if you are over thresholds but below the 18th position, and rejection letter if you have not reached the thresholds. Okay, so for those ones that are pre-selected, you will be requested to sign a subgrantee agreement between the technological company and Fabala as representative of Blockchers. And in order to prepare that contract, we will verify with official documents, now yes, that you are an SME, that you are the company you say you are, and so on and so forth. So in the case that somebody fails to complete the information which is required, then we have this waiting list. Last time we didn't have to use it, but in other programs we run with startups, this has been the case sometimes. Okay. If you have additional questions, you can always write us to the email, check the website, the FAQ section, please. Launch questions through the Telegram channel. There were some this morning, or even through Twitter. Okay. Again, check the FAQ section and the guidelines because most of your questions are answered there. Okay. Any more questions, comments? Maybe you can write them down. If not, I think this is it. Yeah.
If any of you want to speak,
you want to say something, you're free. Just raise up your hand and I will open your microphone. Otherwise, just last pieces of information. This webinar has been recorded, so it will be made public through our YouTube channel in case you want to rewatch it. We will organize a new webinar in March, 3rd of March, if I remember well. Probably you want to prepare some questions for that webinar or whatever. Tom the Block. And there is a question here by Tom.
Blockchain for social competition, one of the funding. I don't know which one.
It is the question from Alisa. Is the Horizon 2020 blockchain for social good competition one of the funding schemes which should make us ineligible? No. The ones that would, and we still need to confirm, make the thing ineligible are Blockchers and Blockpool. Only those ones. The social, other Horizon 2020s are perfectly eligible. Okay, so blockchain for social good, it is actually a competition run by the Commission directly, and just to mention, there is one of the finalists is one of our companies in the portfolio number 1, which is the case of Validated ID. So if you see the final list of finalists in that competition, you will see that one of the companies there is part of our portfolio. So there is not any problem with that, social for good. Okay? Good. And Tom the Block comes with the hand up, but I'm not being able to open his mic. So probably you are muted yourself, Tom. Tom the Block, he raised a question about Alastria. I think we answered that. Any more questions? No? Okay. So, thank you very much, guys, and best of luck with your proposals. We still have a month and a week to go.
You have time enough. So.
You have more than enough. Yeah, time more than enough. And where can I get an answer to what question? Last question. Which one? Guru Prast. Where can I get an answer to this question?
Which one is? I think it's the Blockchers one. Okay. We need to confirm with...
We will publish this on the FAQ, yes, and also on the Telegram channel, okay? So that everything is clear as well.
We will try to do as fast as possible with the project officer from the European Commission. So we'll tell you.
Okay? Awesome. Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask about interoperability between use case, Tom.
Okay, so finally the question from Tom. If you intend to use your...
As a criteria, interoperability of VM cases.
Okay, so if you intend to be part of a bigger ecosystem altogether, maybe I can try to open your microphone again, please, and clarify the question, because I think I'm missing the point. Tom, I cannot open your microphone. I don't know why. So if your question is related to the fact that you will need this as a partial part of a bigger project or community or whatever, I mean, for us the requirement is that you implement, it's very simple, you implement a technical solution of DLT blockchain solution into a traditional SME or into a non-technical SME, we could say. that is what we're looking for. I don't know if that answers at all your question. I'm trying to open your mic, but I can't.
If you have more questions, you can send an email or something with that.
Yeah, you can send us an email or drop a full question through the Telegram, and someone from your team will answer you. Okay. Awesome. So,
Pedro, can the solution be already under development?
Yes, and let me explain here. So you can be working with your actual use case as a customer or something, but we want to see if there is a progress. I mean, what we don't want to see is that somebody comes already with a solution implemented. So what you are about to propose is the use case. So probably you've done 30% of the job, or you've done already a trial with a customer and you want to expand it. The expansion of the existing technology can be also the use case. So in principle, we are talking about different levels of a start for the use case implementation. This is happening actually in the first call. So there were some companies that were starting from scratch. Other companies had a part of the project already implemented and they wanted to include additional modules or functionalities in their customer. So they use us as a leverage for their funding. So, I mean, this is doable. This is what you need to clearly explain in the form, okay?
So that's all at the moment. Non-blockchain part.
You want to implement the smart contracts? Yeah, in theory that fits, Pedro, so should be no problem if it is well explained. Yep. Okay then. So as I said, this has been recorded and you will have it online. Thank you very much, guys. At the very end, we had 23 people in the call, so awesome. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.